Greetings everyone, I'm Kevin and it's time to play YaTBRzy for the last time in 2021. I kind of hinted back in 2021, I kind of hinted back in October that I was not going to play the game physically because I'm not. As you know, the sheet of paper that you kind of keep score, it has 5 columns. So I do January, February, March, April, and so on and so forth. And so the last column is for September and October. And because I don't read that much in November due to NaNoWriMo, I decided I'm not going to start a new sheet. Like, it kind of messes with me doing that. So I like having one sheet per year. So then I thought, if I'm not going to play for November, how am I going to do for December? So back when I planned YaTBRzy for the entire year, like last year, I came up with this. So for December, I am going to re-watch every single YaTBRzy video of this year, and for every single prompt I did not complete within a month, I have to pick a book for. And just to clarify, that I only count yellow and blue books prompts. I only count yellow and blue prompts, or yellow and blue cards, I mean, because they are prompts. Yellow is just normal prompts, blue cards are punishment prompts, but red cards are title cards. So they correlate to a book on my Goodreads want to read list. And because of that, I decided I'm not going to count the red cards because they're not prompts. So I'm only going to look at the yellow and blue cards that I did not finish in that month. And for example, if I get the prompt pink cover in January and I pick Give Me a Wicked Fox, but I didn't finish Give Me a Wicked Fox in January, but I did finish that book in March, I still did not complete the prompt pink cover. So I will still have to pick a book for that prompt because I didn't complete the prompt within the month. That makes sense? So that's what we're doing today. We're going to re-watch my old YaTBRzy videos. And after each prompt that I did not complete, I will pick a book immediately. So again, with the example of pink cover, and I see, oh my god, I didn't finish that book, then I would pull out a book on my bookcase with a pink cover and go with that. So I'm going to pick the books that I will be reading for December during the video watching. Does that make sense? So I'm going to pop one of these in and start watching. So,
ooh, another 5. And last roll. Are you serious? Are you serious?
I can't believe I actually started off too, right? With a YaTBRzy. Like, that's insane.
I mean, 5 is a two number, so this was
that
fun.
Was perfect.
So
5 5s.
That just leaves
YaTBRzy, my favorite number.
I get it
great start.
20.
So as I said earlier, I am not going to look at red cards. So from now on, I'm just going to skip every time that a red card shows up because I don't count them. So why watch that? Like, why should I put you through that? Like, the video would be 2 hours long if I did that. So let's move on to the next roll instead.
20. And because
Again,
that
with
is
multiple fives. So
not
we went from
the
5
highest
fives to
possible,
4.
Because the highest possible for fives is 25. That means I will just get a prompt. So the prompt is romance.
Good first
So
prompt.
for my first yellow card, which was the prompt romance, I have chosen The
Did read that.
Wars
Did
by
finish it in
Aida
January.
Jigadar.
Another
That
four of a
went well.
kind.
So that is 8 for twos. So 8, which is another prompt. And this time it
Pink
is
cover. I actually
Pink
didn't
cover.
think
So after doing
that
some
was the
research,
case when I gave you
decided
the
on
example.
The last
But I
story,
did
Anina
finish
Lee
that
by
book in
Nancy
January.
Jun Kim, 15.
So now we've
because
had
it's
3
3
fives, 4 fives, and
which
5 fives.
means it's a prompt. Aliens.
Let's see,
So we
aliens.
have another yellow card. So we have had this with
Fur.
this. We have fur. Fur. Fur.
Fur.
We have 3 yellow cards in a row. So
God.
this is the yellow card, and the prompt is aliens. So the book I chose for the prompt aliens is Aurora
Yes,
Rising.
I did read that,
Okay,
finished it in January.
Changing to ones.
Another
Okay,
4 of a
so
kind.
4, because I'm of course not putting it there. That would be stupid. Graphic novel. So for the last prompt,
okay, last for
I
January.
chose Illegal.
Finished
by
it,
Ewing
finished
Colfer
it
and
in
Ed
January.
Duncan, which is
We're done
illustrated by
with
Giovanni
January.
Vigano.
Finished all the books, so let's move on to February. Can we also take a moment to talk about my voice? It's kind of cringe listening to the way that I sounded back then, like... ugh. I'm a lot more comfortable with my voice today. But like, wow, my voice was so different not that long ago. But let's watch for November.
Which means it's a prompt. So the
Continue
first
a
prompt
series?
is
That sounds
continue
promising.
a series. So for continue a series, I have chosen Mylingen,
Oh, fuck.
which is the third, it's the third book in the Pax series, which
No,
is a Swedish
I did not.
middle grade
I
series
still have it
based
here.
on-
So I did not finish it. But that means that I read the first 2 books in January. It still feels like, oh, I read those books like not that long ago. January? Both of them? That means that I waited like a year before I read the third book. That's not good. That is one prompt that I didn't finish. So continuing a series. So for the prompt continue a series, I am going to read Mylingen. I don't want there to be a year between reading the first 2 books and the third. So I am going to read this. I love that all of the series books have sprayed edges of different colors. But this follows 2 brothers who don't have a stable family life. So they are placed in a foster family kind of, and placed in this new city called YaTBRzy, which is it's a real city in Sweden. And they are placed there, and suddenly they become the guardians of YaTBRzy. And it's based on old Nordic and Swedish folklore and stuff like that, and it's really interesting. And I enjoyed the first 2 books. Both the first 2 books got 3 stars. I think I would have rated it a lot higher had I read this when I was younger. But the main reason why I decided to read this series is because I'm a high school teacher, and I thought maybe this is a series that one of my students would enjoy, and then I could be like, hey, maybe you would enjoy this. And I have read it, so I can definitely recommend it. And so this is the first book of my December TBR. I'm kind of scared now. Like, we went through January without a hitch, and the first prompt in February. I didn't finish in February, so okay, let's continue.
And that means another prompt card. And this time it is a play.
A play?
So I browsed my little complete works of
Oh my God, that
Shakespeare,
voice.
which is one of my most beloved and treasured books.
I still love that book.
So, and there's only one play that he has that fits into polyphon. and that is A Winter's Tale. Okay,
Finished it.
I'm gonna go
Done.
with 5s in hopes
Next.
of the 4 of a kind. Yep, I got 4 of a kind. So
4 5s
another
again.
prompt, and this time it is interesting historic event.
Oh,
So
please. Oh,
this
please.
book is what I
No.
came up with.
No. No. I did not finish that book. I read it for Olympics-a-thon. I didn't finish it in February. Oh my god. Okay, interesting historic event. I'm going to read Brother's Keeper by Julie Lee. And the historic event of this is, it's right when North Korea and South Korea are split in two. And we follow the sister and her brother as they go through North Korea in the 1950s. And that whole time period in the Korean peninsula is really interesting to me. So I'm gonna read this. It's a middle grade. It sounds amazing. So, interesting historic event. Next prompt, and hopefully no more unfinished prompts, because we're down to 2 after this, during the second month. Enemies to lovers. Okay, this I have to have. I would be very mad at myself if I didn't.
Which is my team.
Come on.
I chose recommended for you.
Yes,
Another
finished it.
yellow card. Immigration.
Immigration.
So I chose one of the non-fiction books, and it is The Girl with 7 Names.
Oh fuck. I did not read that book. I still haven't. It's still up here. It's still here. Didn't finish it. So I'm going to read Luck of the Titanic instead. This has to do with the Titanic. We're following this kind of gymnast, acrobatic Chinese woman who is trying to escape into the US. She's not really allowed to because she's Chinese, and Chinese people aren't allowed on the Titanic. But she makes it on board regardless. And I think it sounds really interesting, and it has to do with immigration because of that. Like immigrating to the US through the Titanic is basically the whole thing. So, third book on my December TBR, and third book from February. Oh my god.
Which is
Okay, next
another
prompt.
yellow card, and this time it's
Friends to Lovers. Sounds
Ooh, my
promising.
second favorite romance trope. So
Yeah.
for the prompt Friends to Lovers, I chose Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilsner.
I did read and finish Something to Talk About, but I didn't do it in February. So I'm gonna pick another book. So the only book that I have that fits Friends to Lovers, from what I know at least, is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is a graphic novel, which I think would be great. And this, if I remember correctly, these two guys are friends, and one of them has a crush on the other, who is also a rugby player. I think this guy was the rugby player. But it's Friends to Lovers, and it's a male-male romance, and it's a graphic novel. So I've heard a lot of great things about this, so I hope I will really enjoy it. So this is going on my December TBR. Then we see the next prompt.
So let's see. Fuck it. I'm gonna cross
No.
out the big straight.
No.
Please be kind to me.
Okay.
Ugly cover.
I did.
that
Okay,
could
I
have
remember that
gone a lot
book.
worse, so I'm happy
I remember
about
that book because I
Ugly
had,
cover.
I
The
felt
book that
so
chose
bad
is
about
a
this.
beautiful book.
I felt so
But
bad
I had
about
to pick
this.
a book for ugly cover, and I'm gonna go with Star
Finished
Crust.
it in
This
February.
started so well, and I end up with 2 punishment
God.
cards.
Another
That is another
punishment.
cross out. Murder mystery. So for the last prompt on YaTBRzy
No.
February was
No.
Murder Mystery, and I came up with this book. So this
I
is
didn't
Gender by G.L.
Finish it. I
Carter.
didn't read it. Nothing. No. Nuh-uh. So that is another book that I have to add. I am going to read a murder mystery in December, but it's for a specific vlog video, so I can't tell you the title of it. But I have a specific murder mystery book that I will read in December regardless, so I'm adding that book to my TBR even though I'm not saying the title of the book. So we move on to March. So hopefully March will be better.
Okay, so first things first, 5
Are you serious?
punishment cards.
I told
So the
you
first
to be
punishment
kinder to
for
me,
the
and you
month
start
is
off
one
with
book, 2
5
languages.
punishment
The
prompts.
Tempest
Not
in
cool.
English and in Swedish. Because
Finished
it's
both.
small.
Holocaust.
But the one that I want to go with is Lilac Girls. And
Yeah,
this is a book that
finished
is
it as
over
well.
500 pages.
The third punishment is first book in a series I swore never to read. No.
So I'm reading City of Bones.
Oh fuck. First book in a series I've sworn never to read. I did finish City of Bones in another month. But that means I'm adding Twilight. So I'm adding Twilight to my TBR. I have never read Twilight. I have watched the movie Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn Part 1. I've never seen Breaking Dawn Part 2. But like, my sister was really into Twilight. She read all of the books in Swedish and English, and she adored the movies. But I was just never really into it. So yeah, but I'm adding Twilight. Then the next book.
Is over 500 pages. Thank you.
Illuminate. So
Finished
a
it.
book over 500
Finished it in
pages. I don't know
February.
about
Still
it,
haven't
but
finished
I feel-
the second
I feel
book.
good about this one.
And the last punishment for not completing
We aren't
my
even into
TBR
playing
for
the game
February
yet.
is Trans Story by Cis Author. Oh fuck.
I
And
did
that
finish
book
this.
is My brother's
I
name
I
is
read it
Jessica.
and I
I'm
finished
gonna put
it.
15 on 5. So here. And that means a prompt card. Male.
So, Male, and the book that I want to go with is David Gregson Keller, because this was
Did
a
not
book that I really
finish
wanted
it
to get to
in
for
March.
Valentine's Fun.
I'm adding the second Heartstopper book. We're in March. We haven't started playing the game in March. And I have 7 books on my TBR. This is fine. This is absolutely fine. Let's continue. The next prompt, please.
For a big straight regardless, which means it's a yellow card to a prompt. Blue cover, okay.
So I'm kind of breaking my own rule here a little bit.
I
but
don't do
the
that.
cover is mostly
Cheating.
blue, and it is
Finished it.
Last Night at Telegraph Club.
Yes.
Which means another yellow card, and this time it's beach on the cover.
Another kind of stretch, but I chose beach read, and obviously they're lying
not
on a beach. Also,
read
it says
it.
beach on the cover.
I didn't even open the book in March. So I'm adding beach read because I don't have another book with a beach on the cover, and this is clearly a beach. It's not a stretch. It's a beach read. So this is going on my TBR. Halfway through March and up 8 books. This is gonna be so fun.
Happy
book.
Yay.
Sounds
It's
promising.
just what I need right now.
I chose something to talk about.
This is the
That
month where I
means
read
another
it.
yellow card, and this time it's South Asian, okay?
And that book is Swimming in the Monsoon Sea.
I feel so bad because I have still never read that book. I have tried several times, but I've never been able to finish it. Like, I went halfway, I think. The most I read in that book was like 50%. But then I just put it on pause and I never got back to it, and I forgot what it was about and stuff like that. But that is another prompt that I am adding. So for South Asia, I'm reading The Serpent Secret because this is a middle grade story based on South Asian mythology and folklore. And I've heard great things about this. This is kind of, if you enjoy Rick Riordan's world, like Percy Jackson, you would enjoy this. And I love everything that has to do with culture. And I really love stories from around the world. So I'm really excited to read this, and I need a middle grade on my TBR right now.
White cover.
So the book that I chose for white, or mostly white cover, is Girls
Finished it
Born. I've heard
in March.
brilliant things
Done.
about this book.
So let's move on to May. April. Let's move on to April.
Is good mental health.
Good mental health,
So
Rob.
for the prompt, good mental health representation, I chose
Finished
The
it.
Midnight Library by my favorite author, Matt Haig.
And this time it's Beth Crowley Shuffle. Okay.
And so here is Shuffle. So the first song that comes up, the book that it's based on, is the one that I'm going to read. So Shuffle. Are you serious? I guess I'm going to read City of Bones after
Finished
all.
it in April.
Determines the page count for this prompt. So I need to read a book that is 299 pages or less.
As I said earlier in this little video, I said that if I could, I would
Finished
put
it
this one
in
on.
April.
And since I had to cross something out.
Oh no,
I
a punishment.
So, Swedish classic.
And for Swedish classic, I'm going to read Drottningens
Finished
Ljusning.
it.
That's not too bad actually. Opposite side romance.
I am going to read These Violent Delights, Roman and Jewel, and because I don't have the hands, I'm also going to read Roman and Jewel.
3 books.
Original by William Shakespeare.
I did complete 2 of these, which I count as. I picked 3 books for 1 prompt, and I read 2 of them. So I counted.
So because I had to cross something out, it's a punishment.
Another punishment.
And it's World War II.
And so for this prompt, I'm going to go with They
Yes,
Call This
I
Enemy.
finished it.
And this is African,
Read Under the
Finished that one as well.
which means that YaTBRzy April will end with a punishment. Please be nice to me.
Yes, please be nice.
Insta
Insta love.
I don't
Ooh,
think
yes, I
anyone should
finished this
be
book.
really surprised that for one prompt, or for several prompts actually, I do a little bit of a stretch. It
I
does
love
say
stretching.
insta love, like love at first sight, which means that the characters love each other from the first moment.
I was so
Like that,
proud of
that's
this.
what it
Like when I
means.
came up with the
So,
reasoning
why
for
not
this,
go
I
with the
was so
Romance Book
proud.
Club that is about
So
a
proud.
married couple. The main characters love each other from the first page. Insta love.
Moving on to May.
Is green the first
cover.
prompt? For the prompt green cover, I'm going with The Rise of Kyoshi.
Did not finish that book. I didn't read it. So what the hell? Let's take the third Heartstopper book on. I need more graphic novels to get me through December. So this is a green cover and green spine. Like it has a majority of green shaded things. So this goes on for a green cover. So next prompt.
Another yellow card, and this time the prompt is red cover.
Oh my god,
Colors
this is
this
the
time.
month. This is the cursed month. Like if I look back on my year of YaTBRzy, the first video that comes to mind is the cursed video where the prompts kept showing up in pairs.
Going to stretch a little bit because I'm picking.
I did finish Fake It Till Break It.
Even though
I
it
read,
might be
like
seen
50% of it and then I
as
DNF'd it.
pink.
So
On the
I
cover
count
it's red.
when
So
I
let's roll a
put in
dice.
effort and I
So
read
this,
half the book.
and we get a 2, so that is more than 3 words.
I realized that I have a lot of books with less than 3 words and a lot of books with more than 3 words.
Makes sense.
But at the end, I settled for
Finished it. Yes.
Inside Out and back again.
Next.
But time I life.
So rolling this one
Come on.
for a book starting with a vowel or
So we've
starting
had green cover,
It's a
red
6.
cover,
Okay, so
roll a
since I
dice,
got a
roll a
6,
dice. I wonder
I'm going
what's
to roll a book that
next.
starts with a consonant.
So for a book that starts with a consonant in the title, I picked an anticipated release of 2021, and it is The
Oh
Rise
no.
of the Red
Oh no, I didn't. So I am going to do the same thing that I did in the video. Pick an anticipated release of 2021. So I'm going with Last Gamer Standing by Katie Zhao. I have been insanely excited about this ever since I heard about it. So I am really, really excited to read it. It's a middleweight and it's short and it's sci-fi, it's futuristic. Yes.
But that means a yellow card, and this time it is character on cover, okay? It wouldn't be a TBRzy if I didn't do a lot of stretches for the prompts. Because the prompt, you know, character on the cover, this is technically a character. It's two characters on the cover.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see their like bottom half of the face,
sense.
which I count.
Of course you do.
Yeah, like that is the best thing after YaTBRzy, and I would never put a YaTBRzy here, so yeah. But that is another yellow card, and this time it is animal on cover. I promise I shuffled this on the cover, and those are the Cappy Vicious Spirits and Girl in Red, and both of those has wolves, but the one that I picked is Wonderscape
Finished it.
by Jennifer Bell, because it
Love
has
that
a
book.
tiny
Love that book.
outside. So that is another yellow card, and if this is something on cover or roll a dice or a color on the cover, I shuffled. And this prompt is TBR Veteran. Okay.
This
so
doesn't
the book
sound
that
good.
I have had the longest is Swimming
Yep,
in the Monsoon
should have seen
Sea
that
by
coming.
Jim
Did not
Silverberg.
finish it.
I've had
As I said
this
earlier
book
in this
since
video,
2016.
I haven't finished it ever. So adding a TBR Veteran. So for TBR Veteran, I am going to read a book that I probably have read, but I don't remember reading, and I added it to my 30 books to read before I turn 30 for that reason. And it's The God of Small Things. So adding it to my TBR pile. Then we move on to June, when I got my wheel.
Card,
But I'll show you that.
a book turned into a hated movie. I chose The Notebook.
Finish that book.
Second punishment prompt. Book about grief. For a book about grief, I have chosen When My Name Was Kyoko.
Finish that book as well. I hate when I start a video with just taking punishment prompts. DNF.
And for this prompt, I chose If I Was a Girl. by
Finish that book.
Because it's a set number, so it's a prompt card, and today's first prompt is Romani protagonist. So I chose the book.
Finish that book as well.
Round 4.
Going good so far.
A full house. Okay, that's good. That's great. And that is 26 right here. That is not highest possible, so it's not a red and it's not the lowest. I mean, it's not the lowest, but I didn't cross out anything, so it's not a blue. So another yellow card. This time we got East Asian. So for East Asian, I am going to read
Finish that book.
Series by Kat
Finish that.
And that is a yellow card, and it's royalty. So this went a lot better than I expected. I didn't expect to find anything on my shelf, so that I would have to go look like library, script, article. But
What did I pick?
found them.
What did you
So
pick?
I'm gonna read Daughters of Marie.
Yes.
by
Finished it.
Mayo.
Enjoyed
Yes,
it.
I count this as royalty because the twin daughters, these girls, are related to a goddess. Another yellow card. This time it's
Floral cover.
So for floral cover, I'm gonna read this time. with the
Finished it.
Princess of Europe. So apparently I haven't had enough of blue cards this month, and it's
Have I ever
over
gotten enough?
600 pages. But regardless,
The monthly challenge was reading the rainbow. That's why I couldn't pick Adnan, because it's not a color that was on. Like, it didn't have a main or dominant color, so I couldn't pick that book. Finished it. Oh no, another blue card.
It's another punishment, and it's a book.
Okay, I
But for this prompt, I am going to
finished that book.
Race to Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan.
Moving on to July. I have a lot of books in my hands.
And that is a yellow card.
At least we didn't start off just pulling blue cards.
First prompt
That's progress.
is
Romance.
romance. Like, this worked out really well for me because I'm going to read Finders Keepers.
For Olympics of Fun. Yay!
Okay,
Remember that now.
I am
It's so
going to
weird
read
looking back on these videos, remembering the
I'm going to
readathons I
read
participated
Die
in.
Roten von Panen, Flammendöd
Oh
Zone.
no. Oh no. I did not finish Flammendöd Zone that month. I finished in August, not July. So it starts with F. So I don't have a book that starts with the letter F, but I have an author whose name starts with F. So I'm going to read The Upper World by Femi Fadugbam. Both names start with F. This is kind of like Last Game of Standing. This is a futuristic science fiction middle grade or YA. I'm not sure which one it is, but it involves some kind of game, which the Last Gamer Standing, obviously, Last Gamer Standing, has to do with gaming and virtual games as well. So this is going on my TBR for starts with F. I don't like watching my stack of books. It just gets bigger and bigger.
And this time we get sports.
Sport.
And so I'm reading Tadje
Yeah, finished that book.
The first book in the Hunger Games series. So this
I
is
finished
Hunger Games, but in German.
the first and the
it
second
is
Hunger Game book.
New book by favorite author. So for the prompt, new book by favorite author, I'm going to read one last
Finished that book as well. Let's move on to August.
1996.
I am going to use skip, meaning that if I get a card I don't want to read, I can skip it and take a new card. So I am using this because I can't find a book for the prompt, which is exactly like why that card exists. So I'm just going to shuffle my yellow cards.
Shuffling, shuffling, shuffling.
And then the top card I have to read for, okay? And I get fave. Okay, so I get to reread a favorite. So this is gonna be a little bit funny because for fave, I'm going to read Scorpio Hates Virgo, and I thought this was funny because Virgo, I'm a Virgo. I was just thinking like, now that you know what year I was born and you know what my star sign is, but like the star signs are months.
I get fake dating.
And for fake dating, I'm going to read She Drives Me
Finish that
Crazy
book
by
as well.
Quindlin.
Oh my god, I just realized that's a punishment. Okay, I'm gonna take a punishment. And the punishment for August is YA romance.
I don't know how it ended
I am
up
still
blue,
confused about
and this
that.
Is like, this is clearly wrong.
I am
because,
still
like, if
confused
you've
about that.
Watched any of my videos, you know that I love YA romance. So like, how did YA romance end up being a punishment? So for YA romance, I'm going to read The Gravity of Us.
Finished it.
Stamper.
So, I'm gonna read a book starting with S.
And for this, I'm going to read Stand Up.
Finish that book as well.
By Jessica Kim.
But anyways, let's take my second punishment prompt for this month, and we get Swedish romance.
And so for Swedish romance, I'm going to read In kväll I juni by Anna.
Okay, so this book was a new release. It was released during August, and there was no way to get my hands on it, but I read another Swedish romance that I counted instead. So I did complete this prompt in August. So moving on to September. Okay, and that is the first card for September is yellow, and we get good start. Indigenous. For the prompt Indigenous, I'm gonna read Elatsue by Darcy Little. Finished it. Finished it. Card because it's not the highest possible, and we have aliens. I actually thought at first that I could take something out of my shelf, but then I had the most brilliant idea because after finishing the first book in the Wayfarer series by Becca Chambers, which is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, I decided I'm gonna buy all the books. So I have ordered all the books, and so I will have the second book coming sometime next week or the week after that, but sometime in September. So I'm gonna read A Closed and Common Orbit by Becca Chambers, the second book in the Wayfarer series.
This time we have black cover.
It's not as fully black as the other ones, but it's a contender still. Or it would have been a contender. I was so scared there for a second, like, oh my god, did I pick that book? Am I going to take another book because I didn't finish that book again? But it was a contender, so it wasn't that book that I picked. That I would probably be stupid not to pick. And it's Fire. Don't scare me like that, Kevin. That's not nice. I finished that book, loved it.
With the ones. What if I get a one?
Obviously.
Like, that's YaTBRzy, of course. Are you serious? Okay. That's amazing. Because of course I'm not switching 50 points to 5. Like, that would be very
I completely forgot about that.
Stupid. So that's a red card, and that is a yellow card, and it's Selma Lagerlöf.
So this is not how I expected to end, like, with for September, like for YaTBRzy prompts with Selma Lagerlöf. I did not expect that, but I finished this book. I know exactly what book it is, and I did read it. And I'm going to read one of her most popular books, and it's Nils Holgersson's Underbara Resa genom Sverige. Finished it. Let's move on to the last video, October.
The book has to start with, and it's Q. So the book or the author's name has to start with a Q.
I don't have a single book that starts with the letter Q, but I have an author whose last name starts with the letter Q. Finish that book. So I will be reading Late to the Party by Kelly Quinlan.
That is another yellow card. This time we get POC.
And I chose Love and Other Natural Disasters by Nisa Sugiura.
Yeah. And that is
finish that book.
Card. And we get Indigenous Author.
So I found this anthology called
It was really interesting.
On the Four Winds.
Ever. 4. So that is a verb.
But then I went to the absolute last book on my TBR shelf. Like, the absolute last book. Would like to meet.
I love that
book. Would is an auxiliary verb. So it is a verb, so it counts.
Yellow cover.
Yellow cover. So the book that I will be reading for yellow cover is It Started.
Finish that book as well. The punishment for crossing out the ones is over 800 pages.
Why does it have to be so difficult? I am not going to read one book over 800 pages. I am going to read 2 books that together will be over 800 pages. So for the prompt over 800 pages, I will be reading The Bookshop on the Shore by Jenny Colgan, which is 407 pages long. And the second book that I will be reading is, spoiler alert, by
I finished both.
Dade.
This blue card is recent DNF.
And the most recent DNF was The Never Tilting World by Rin Chapeka. That is the second time I did not finish that book, The Never Tilting World. I've had it on my YaTBRzy TBR twice. I never finished it. Like, the first time that I got it through a red card, so a title card. And I listened to it and I was so confused. I was like, what is happening? Who are these characters? I don't understand what's happening. And I read 70% of the book. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I DNF'd it because I didn't understand what was going on. So I decided I'm gonna DNF it. And then I got most recent DNF and I had to pick Never Tilting World. And do you think I have a more recent DNF than Never Tilting World? I don't. So it's going up on my December TBR. So 3 times the charm, I guess. Oh boy. That is 14 books. These are all the books that I will be reading for YaTBRzy for December, as well as Twilight, murder mystery that I am not going to tell you what book it is, and The Never Tilting World. Those are the 14 books that I will be reading for my YaTBRzy end of the year special. The good thing is that in January, my TBR, or not my TBR, but my score will be reset. So when I start playing YaTBRzy for January, I don't have a baggage of books that I have to take punishment cards for. So that feels really good to know, but I have 14 books on my TBR that I am going to try to read and finish in December. Wish me good luck. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, good reading. Bye.